Let's start this video off talking about how Scrafty and Starmie are pretty much confirmed to be getting Mega Evolutions in this game. Now I know you're probably clicking on this video thinking it's a character related video, and it is. But Scrafty and Starmie play a very important role to two different characters in this game, and those two are the members of Team MZ. Lida, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, and Naveen. Now, how do Scrafty and Starmie relate to these two? Well, Scrafty is Naveen's partner Pokemon, or rather Scraggy, and Staryu is Lida's partner Pokemon. And obviously, once they evolve to Scrafty and Starmie respectively, you know, that's their final forms. But is it really? Because these two trainers have Mega Bracelets. And if they have Mega Bracelets and they're part of Team MZ, duh, their partner Pokemon are going to Mega Evolve. On top of this, when they were discussing the rogue Mega Pokemon, or the fact that, you know, there's random wild Pokemon Mega Evolving and we have to take it down with our own Mega Pokemon, the Pokemon that they showed off there were Staryu, Scraggy, and Crocodile, implying that, you know, Scrafty, Starmie, and Crocodile will all get Mega Evolutions. Crocodile is a Pokemon that I think many people have wanted to see get a Mega, so that adds up. That makes sense. Lida and Naveen, their names all start with L and N, which is kind of interesting because it's Team MZ. So I'm assuming M means either Mable or Mega. I would presume it, I don't know, maybe there's somebody else associated with M, but L and N are right beside M in the alphabet. That's the main thing. It could just be Megas, who knows? But anyways, the thumbnail shows Lida. Let's talk about Lida. Lida's 100% Tierno's daughter. All right, there's no question about it. The two giveaways here, or maybe three. One is she wears blue, but I just thought about that. You know, Tierno wears a little bit of blue, she wears a blue, there's that. She also aspires to become a professional dancer. That's the main thing, because Tierno's whole thing was to dance. So there's already a connection there. They have black hair, but more than that, the head top. Tierno has like these three things on his head top. Lida has something very similar. So Tierno got with some chick, did the deed, and he got Lida. All right, he made it. He made it in life. For all of you who doubted him, you never read the manga. Tierno was the craziest character in the manga. He was so cool. But hey, he made it out. He got a kid. So we have to presume that actually gives us some level of timeline here. We have to assume this game is like minimum. No, it can't even be 20 years. We're looking at like 30 years, 20 to 30 years, because Tierno in the games is how old? Okay, it's not told to us, but I mean, Serena and Caleb started off as 16, so or around there. We don't even have an actual age for them. But I'm inclined to believe that Tierno, Trevor, and Shauna are a bit younger regardless. I'm gonna aim at like 14, even then it's a stretch. But I'm thinking that for him to become a full-fledged adult and have a child who's approximately like 10 if we're on the younger side, 14, 15, 16 if we're more on the realistic side here, I'd say he needed 10 years to age up, find somebody, and then at least 10 or so years for Lida to grow up, right? So I think 30 years from X and Y is a solid estimate. But this is good knowledge. Like, her existence alone gives us knowledge, because we weren't getting this with Mable. Mable, who was a Team Flare member, and she's now the professor of the games. She's taken over Sycamore's place. She's a professor. She's brought a Team Flare gaming chair. Now, it makes a lot of sense that she's a professor, because I mean, she was a scientist in Team Flare. And in the manga, if I remember correctly, she was one of the more technical ones. Manga is not so canon to the games, but you know, it just adds up. I'm not sure how she was in the anime, but that alone, it's like if she reformed and everything, it's pretty cool. Who knows where Sycamore went, all right? Nobody knows. Nobody knows where this guy is. I still think the player characters are Sycamore's kids, because if Tierno's having kids out here, Sycamore having kids, it's like, you know, it's a must. That does make for some interesting generational gaps between the characters. But hey, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's fine. But it looks like, you know, Sycamore and Tierno both had kids. They're the kids that become friends. I have a few more things to say about Mable, but jumping to Naveen real quick, he also has a parent from X and Y. But before that, if you're feeling hungry, boy, I got a treat for you. This video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. This month, Tokyo Treat brings you a box packed with flavors inspired by Japan's most mouth-watering festival foods. Tokyo Treat is a fun and exclusive Japanese snack subscription box filled with limited edition Kit Kats, specialty flavored Japanese chips, seasonal treats, and occasional Japanese sodas that are only available in Japan for a limited time. Sakura Co is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local Japanese snack makers, and each box comes with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese teas and special Japanese tableware. This month's Tokyo Treat theme is Summer Matsuri Snack Fest, and with Tokyo Treats, we always show off the monthly Kit Kat on this channel. And this month, it's the chocolate orange Kit Kat. Usually, I'm not a fan of orange flavored chocolate, but this one hits. It tastes so good that I had to eat it throughout the week. One of the other snacks that I really enjoyed were the mini sugar donuts. It's not every day that a donut comes in the mail, so I definitely had to enjoy this one. With Sakura Co, the theme of this box is Journey to Okinawa. The almond caramel cookie was my favorite item from the roster. I literally finished all of it right then and there. And all of this month's snacks pair perfectly well with this month's tea, the Sanpin tea, which I did happily drink while using this month's tableware item, the Bloom's Handpicked Ceramics. You get either a bowl or a cup, and I end up getting the bowl. Both boxes also come with booklets with allergen and dietary information as well as cultural facts. If you love snacks as much as I do, then you'll definitely want to get a box yourself. Use code HybridHero to receive $5 off your first Sakura Co box through my link, or your first Tokyo Treat box through my other link. Now, back to the video. Naveen, by the way, is the brownest name I've ever heard. I have a second cousin named Naveen, and I'm brown if you can't tell by my avatar. But he looks black in here, which is fine by me. It's no issue. I just find it hilarious. I'm curious about this guy's origins. But regardless, I know part of his origins. He's related to Shauna. Now, I'm not exactly 100% sure about this, but I'm inclined to believe it because in the manga, if you don't know, Shauna actually ends up being a furfrou designer, okay? She doesn't have a goal really in X and Y, which is why it's hard to draw the similarity. But she ends up being a furfrou groomer or designer or whatever it's called. And so it's in some way related to fashion. Between the main cast of characters, or even any notable characters, I don't see anybody being related to fashion. The only person I can see is Shauna because she doesn't end up with a kind of goal. And on top of that, she's, off top of my memory, besides like Olympia and stuff, she's the only one who is of darker skin. He could be related to Olympia. He could, for all I know, but I'm expecting a lot more with Olympia. Olympia does seem pretty fashionistic as well with that outfit and all. So maybe he's related to Olympia. That would be kind of cool, actually. But Shauna, I'm just going off of like origins as far as I can tell with the eye. Naveen is either of some kind of black or brown origins, or maybe a mix of both. Shauna seems to be somewhere there. Maybe she's like Hispanic. I don't know. She's of darker ethnicity, okay? I'm just inclined to believe it. All right. Forgive me if I made any kind of mistake with my analysis here, or if I said anything offensive. I'm not trying to be. But you let me know if you think there's a better match for Naveen. He doesn't have to be related to anybody either. Let me make this very clear. There's no need for every character to be related. But I'm thinking because I'm very much inclined to believe that we are the kids of Sycamore, and that Lida is Tierno's daughter. And so it feels like it would be fitting if the other members of Team MZ are also related to somebody in some way, shape, or form. So Naveen really being related to somebody, and then Urbane or Tani also being related to somebody, but I really can't tell with Urbane and Tani because they've dyed their whole hair and everything. So it's difficult to tell. Anywho, coming to my favorite character of the roster, this guy's design is crazy. Corbeau, man, I don't got too much to say about him because like when I first saw him, I thought it was related to Spike Mud, like Marnie, Pierre's, them, but he's a poison type expert. So it's very much possible he's not related to anybody at all. But god dang it, though, if I had to draw inspiration to someone in X and Y, the only person I can think of is Cassius. But Cassius has the most, he has an NPC trainer sprite, if I remember correctly. He's the guy who made the PC in X and Y, or he manages the PC storage system, similar to how Bill and them do. But I'm just drawing at like that's a stretch. That's 100% stretch. But if I have to draw a connection, that's all I can think of. This guy's crazy cool. I just love his design. I don't know, there's not too much to say about him. There's a Rust Syndicate, which is cool. If there's more syndicates out there, great. They're probably trying to like go against Valerie and her freaking fairy types. But hey, man, that's lit. But we also have Emma. Emma, I wasn't too excited about because we've seen her in the box art. And so it was already like a given that she was there. And plus, we don't know too much about her right now. She's the detective. She's managing what seems to be the Looker Bureau from before in X and Y. Great stuff. All good news, but all expected. I'm glad she's, you know, made it out of the slums. She's living a good life now, it seems. That's all great, but all expected. That's the problem. But I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more about her as time progresses, you know, as the story goes on and we see more of her. I'm sure she's hiding a few secrets here and there as well. There's no way. She's a detective, you know. She's got to learn a little bit from Looker. So we'll see what that entails. Now, coming back to Mable real quick, besides looking seductive and looking like this and getting all of Twitter into our, you know, into our frenzy about her being the professor, what is the purpose of her being the professor? I think this will make for some good setup, because if Lysander is around in any way, shape, or form, that's going to be a huge conflict, right? Or maybe not a conflict, but it'll make for some interesting story, because part of the reason why X and Y's air quote story worked was because Sycamore and Lysander already knew each other. So I think if Lysander were to be here, which I feel like he has to, if he has to be there, then it makes sense for the professor of the region to know him. But let me know what you guys think. Am I stretching things with some of these characters? Is this all, you know, is it all good? Does every character have a relation? Who knows? Let me know. If you are interested in the X and Y manga or the Callus manga, as I've been teasing throughout this video, stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, because I have an X and Y manga video coming out in August that you don't want to miss.